This is a CRP Minute, and I got to bring you the results on the co-main event of UFC 235, where we have a new UFC World Welterweight Champion, Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman. And he just completely dominated Tyron Woodley. I had two 10-8 rounds in there, so I had this 50-43 on the scorecards. He dominated the wrestling. He dominated the pace. Woodley could not get off. He couldn't find any shots. This was as dominant of a fight as you're going to see, and I think it was summed up really well in the post-fight. And just giving you a little background, in the post-fight interview with Woodley, he said it felt like a bad dream. He said he was prepared. He made no excuses, which was cool. But I like this tweet. Tyron Woodley, it felt like a bad dream on his loss to the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman. This was a incredibly impressive performance by Kamaru Usman, who is one of those guys that we've all known is very good. We've all known as championship caliber, but we didn't know just how good he was. And this fight looked like just another walk in the park for a guy that we've seen do this to other guys very easily. He's 31 years old. He has now began his UFC career 10-0, and now he's world champion. The first African-born world UFC champion. And he looks so big at welterweight that one can only speculate that he could move up to 85. Obviously, he's probably going to fight Colby Covington, especially with all their back and forth. But I'm not even thinking about the first thing that came to my mind was Adesanya and Whitaker and Gastelum. I believe he is capable of fighting them, and we don't even have to look at the rankings. He came in ranked number 2 behind Colby Covington, who was the number 1 ranked contender, and the champion, Tyron Woodley. He is now the champion. He is on top. Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman is on top. He is the welterweight to beat. I think he'll beat Covington. I think he is huge, strong. He set a very good pace in this fight. His striking was solid. He doesn't make mistakes. And really, the only question from here is just where do we rank Usman in the grand scheme of things? Who's going to beat this man? That's the question I have. I really like Ponzinibbio. Santiago Ponzinibbio is a welterweight contender. I think he's ranked like number 6. He's on like a 7-fight win streak. Really good striking. But this was very impressive. He just completely went in there and outclassed and dominated Woodley. And we got to throw a little bit of credit to Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley was a good champion. He had his hiccups earlier in his career when he lost in Strikeforce to Nate Marquardt. He lost a split decision to Jake Shields, lost a decision to Roy McDonald. Kept getting better, became the champion when he knocked out Robbie Lawler. Had the 2 Stephen Thompson fights. The first one was a draw, which I thought he won. Then he comes back and wins the majority decision in the second fight. Completely dominates Damian Maia and then finishes Darren Till, and now he's lost to Usman. And this is going to definitely hurt his legacy, for sure. But he's a solid fighter, very good fighter, and he was a good champion, and he deserves respect. And he's one of the best welterweights we've ever seen. So I appreciate that. But Usman showed tonight that he is the next level. And it's interesting where to go from here. Covington, I believe, is going to be a very substantial underdog in this fight when they fight. I think it'll sell. I think Covington will be brought in to sell that fight. But I don't know. This is interesting. This was unexpected. I didn't expect Usman to dominate that bad. Because now we've got to really start talking about Usman as where does he rank on the pound for pound? Because he could move up. He could move up and be competitive at 85. He is good. And who's going to beat him? So we've got ourselves a champion. And